Hello, I'm back again. I don't really do Halloween, but I had made a couple of Halloween mini albums a few years ago, and I still have papers, quite a few papers, miscellaneous things, and someone had sent me in a rack just a few things like these cards here that would be great in Halloween journals. So I decided I would use up those papers and make a couple of Halloween journals and see how we do with them. So I was going to wait and show them both together when they were done, but I finished this one, this big one, and I couldn't wait to show it to you. So here's the book I'm going to show you, and then this one will be much smaller, but it's got, I think it's a lotus flower. This might have been a book about Egypt, I'm not sure. This will be the second book. But for now, I will show you this one, and it measures, it's a big one, it measures almost 5.5 by 11 1/4. So that's a tall one. And the book was called The Book of Secrets, and I thought that would be really cool for a Halloween book, besides it was black. The lettering was quite shiny and bright, so I took my StazOn brown ink and rubbed it over the letters to kind of dull it down just a little bit. And there were also some shiny red stripes here, so I covered them up with scrapbook paper. And then I adhered these poison labels, and these were part of the things that were sent to me in a rack. So I really like the way they look. This is all Mod Podged on. And then there's this kind of like Halloween rickrack design, but it's scrapbook paper on the spine. And then on the back it says Happy Haunting, and then uniquely handmade. And there's a little bit of trim there. And it's tied with black seam binding. There are 3 signatures stitched in. We've got this bat paper because I opened the book with this cardstock paper with the tree, and it's got a crow and owls and a mouse and a bat there, so I thought the bat paper was perfect there. And this is an old ID card that came in another set that I've had for a long time, so I put that in there. And there is some stenciling. You can see some stenciling. It's pretty light on this page. And there's a bunch of Tim Holtz Halloween words in this book. This one just says Halloween, and it was just the right size there. There's a little bit of stamping. This is coffee dyed paper. This is scrapbook paper. And this is a Halloween bag with a vintage design. I love this. And I believe that the bags that you will see in this journal, or a couple of them anyway, were sent to me by Julie Mangold. This is Tim Holtz paper, his sheet that has the trick-or-treat, vintage trick-or-treat bags, and I just stitched around it to decorate it, and it's a tag in that little sack. There's some more stenciling and stamping here. This is from a book that went through the seasons. And so I took out the Halloween, well, I had taken the book apart a long time ago, but I used the Halloween pages in this book. I love that image. From ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties and things that go bump in the night, good Lord deliver us. It's an old Cornish prayer. And there's, I didn't do anything to the papers because I wanted you to be able to read these things about Halloween. There's black lace, can you see, sticking out the top. So this is where the first piece of black lace is, just stitched to this coffee dyed paper. And this gentleman turns into this. There are several of these in the book, one in each signature, different ones. They came on greeting cards, and I'm a Hallmark lady. And when it came time to dispose of the Halloween cards, this was several years ago, I couldn't bear to throw these away. They were just too cool, so I bought them, and they've been in my stash, waiting to be used, and here they are. So there's cheesecloth and black lace at the top here, and this came out of a Hollywood book. book about old Hollywood, so I thought he'd be great in here. So he stitched a copy dyed paper. Okay, this is spiderweb paper behind him, and there's some spiderwebs stenciled here. This is actually the Tim Holtz stencil called Shattered, but it looks like a spiderweb to me. This is something I had stamped and torn out, and this is a stamp here. Some birds. I think that's a Tim Holtz stamp, and they go right across the page here. I stamped it several times. This is from that seasonal book. It says October. Some lace and rickrack. And on the centers, I just glued some Tim Holtz letters, stickers. They don't mean anything. I just cut some that fit together and glued them in. There's some journaling spots here. This was sent to me, I believe, with these. This is a pocket that I don't even know where I got it from. I may have made it with my Cricut. I think I did. Little Tim Holtz decoration there, happy haunting, and a little stamped tag that you can journal on. So there's a little bit of journaling space on this page. The pages are long, so there's plenty of room for journaling. Another Halloween page with a fabric collage. This was sent to me, I'm going to say Jill Robertson. I think it was her. It's been a while. Sent me these. I'm not sure, but this was a border punch, and I love it there. And then I stamped up here. There's a little bit of stenciling. This is some of the Tim Holtz images from his paper line, the seasonal pack. There's some black fabric behind it and some cheesecloth. Some more stenciling. These two Tim Holtz images were stitched together and then stitched on as a pocket. And I had one graphic 45 tag, and I believe this was sent to me also. So, because I'm sure I didn't have this pack of paper. And this came from, I don't even remember which pack of paper this was, but it says Happy Haunting. It is graphic 45. And I just made a little booklet. As I said, these are leftover pieces, so there's a bunch of everything in this book. Here's the second signature, and this lovely lady turns into an evil clown. And there's some more cheesecloth and black lace up here, and a tag. It says Black Cat Society. Some journaling there and there. I like these tall pages because I could make the really long tags. Now this, let me see if I can get that stencil. Nope, I don't see it. I always forget that I want to show you this stuff, and it's not handy, but I had shown a haul that I did, and it had a little nursing booklet for a nursing school, and this stencil was with it, and that's why I bought it, so I could have this stencil. So as I rubbed the ink through the stencil, they were kind of blurry. The stencil is a little bit thick, so it would be better to spray probably than rub. So the edges weren't very defined, so I just took a micron pen and drew around it, but I thought it was really cool. And this was sent to me, this spiderweb page, which is awesome. So the spiderweb belongs in this haunted house here, and there's just a little bit of black lace stitched behind it. Here's another one of those gorgeous bags. I don't know if these are Cavallini bags, but they might be, because Julie also sent me some other bags that were Cavallini. This is from, it's a newer graphic 45. Well, I say newer, but I haven't bought any in quite a while. But it's fairy tale, spooky fairy tale set. And I want to just make a fairy tale journal. So I just took the spooky stuff out, and I will use it in these two books. And then the other things I can just make a fairy tale journal. Here's another page from that seasonal book, a page about October. This says spooky. It's just glued on, and some fabric and cheese. No, this is another fabric here. and rickrack, and a vintage ledger page here. Some stenciling. These look creepy, and in the context of a Halloween book, they look a little creepy. And black ribbon and rickrack sewn on there. This is the pumpkin carving party. Like that little girl. This could be a tuck spot if you wanted it to be. It says haunted. I left all the strings. If you purchase this book and you don't want the strings, you can cut them off, or you can message me and I will cut them off before I send it to you. Here's a Tim Holtz image. It can be a tuck spot, and this is glued on as a pocket, and some green rickrack and a green shipping tag that I printed from the internet. This is cut with my Martha Stewart drip punch. My daughter bought it for me on clearance years ago, and I never have anything to make with it, so I thought it would be cool in this. This just has a couple of tag cards inside. This was sent to me, and this is one that I made. Goes right in here. Some fabric and cheesecloth. And then these pieces. This is from the Graphic 45 also, and it says beware, but I think she's adorable. This was cut out from another scrapbook paper and glued on. This is a scrap of scrapbook paper and graph index card stitched to the back. And here's the third signature, this little girl. She's pretty gruesome when she changes. And the long tag here has a cat and a mirror, an arrow that says turn back, creatures of fright, and some journaling spots. Cheesecloth and black lace up there. Some stenciling. There's a little pocket made from Tim Holtz image and a Tim Holtz image tucked in. I will stitch this to some coffee dyed paper so it can be journaled on. I think I got all the rest of them. Beware, tag, an eerie tale. That's the Graphic 45. Fairy tale, spooky stuff. But I love the owls on the back. But there is journaling on the front. So this is a pocket, a little bit of orange ribbon, and a little piece of vintage doily. A little sack here with some natural paper glued on, and some images and a couple of tags that are stitched onto coffee dyed paper. This says trick and this says treat, and they're both little tuck spots. This has a spider. Little trick. Somebody sent me this too, and it's got little flocked spiders on it. And it was one that she cut with the jelly bean die because I glued it together and put this tag in it. And it has gathered muslin and rickrack up here. More of the Tim Holtz birds. And then this is a song sheet called On Halloween Night. I thought that was really neat. This doesn't have anything glued to the strings because this signature is loose. So I have to take it out and put it in again, tighten it up. And then I will put some more of those letters on it. There's a treat bag and a poison journaling card. But I love this paper. It might have been K & Company, but I am not sure. Some lace there, vintage ledger. The other side of the treat of the sack, and Tim Holtz images stitched to coffee dyed paper. Some more images here. Pocket. This image is stitched on, and there's an image that I didn't stitch it to paper because it's light enough to be journaled on. And then we have black fabric, cheesecloth, and an image stitched on as a tuck spot. And then this, somebody sent this to me and I cannot remember who, but it's 3 layers glued together, and I'm not sure if it was made with the Cricut. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. And I wanted to use it, but I didn't want it to be damaged either on the front or the back as you're tucking things in and out. And so I found this piece of acetate. It's got snowflakes on it, and just stitched it into the acetate. So there's acetate behind and in front. So when you tuck things in, it's not going to get caught on that image. But I love it. Boy and girl in the woods. Kind of reminds me of Hansel and Gretel. And there's an image here. Whoops. This is from the Graphic 45 Eerie Tale. And obviously this side is too. Journaling on there. And it's got spider webs. So I put the spider paper on this back. Here's a vintage, I can't get this out, a vintage library pocket, and I just glued this piece of paper on and this little journaling, or Tim Holtz image, and I left the stamp dates on there. The earliest is 1972, and there's a vintage library card in there. And so there's this book, and this will be listed in my Etsy shop. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for this one. Bye.